Amid the call for Yochayu to resign by some members of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the alleged financial scandal that led to the return of funds by some National Working Committee members, Nigeria's main opposition party is forging ahead with campaign strategies believed to help them stem support for next year's election. The party has reportedly struck a last-minute power-sharing deal with the Southwest and Southeast to show up the support for its presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar. The position of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, was zoned to the Southeast region to give further bite for a possible inroad into the Southeast, while the Southwest will likely produce the next Senate president if Atiku wins the 2023 elections. Meanwhile, 5 enshrined governors elected on the People's Democratic Party PDP platform, sympathetic to Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State, met behind closed doors in Enugu on Sunday to determine their next line of action, which is yet to be made public. So joining us now from our Abuja studio to discuss the way forward in the PDP and how to resolve the internal wranglings in the party amid the 2023 election campaign is Dr. Emmanuel Agbo, former Deputy National Secretary, People's Democratic Party, PDP. Great to have you. A lot of people will argue with you, sir.
Thank you.
Sharing party positions is just wishful thinking, because the PDP as we speak today is on fire. The last time you came here, I remember we talked about the Wike debacle, and you said things would be sorted out. But many months down the line, the Wike issue is still a very thorny one. It's still that very small, hurting bone in the throat of the PDP and its presidential candidates. Also, look at what is happening in Ogun State. Ogun has become that, recurring tale, sort of like that lemony snicket of series of unfortunate events as regards to PDP. Last year, last election cycle, we know how it went down to the wire before the court ruled in favor of the final candidate. Now, it's going through all of that cycle again. What is wrong with your party?
Thank you for having me. I would rather want to, for now, restrict myself to that which is the very topical issues of the moment, the issues that concerns the resolution of the seemingly dragging crisis between what you and others now refer to as the Wike camp and that of the PDP. And in doing so, yes, when I was here the last time, I did promise that the party has very strong internal mechanism for crisis resolution. To say that nothing has been done since then till now is not completely correct. There are restructurings ongoing within the party. I'm sure by the time I made appearance here the last time, the chairman of the BOT, as we have it today, was then secretary of the BOT. But because of regional balancing and taking into cognizance the sensitivities of all segments of this great country of ours, the chairman then of the BOT gave way to pave way for Wagbara from the Southeast to assume the BOT chairmanship. He is there today. It's part of the ongoing internal restructuring and mechanisms that we have an all-inclusive PDP national party that will go into elections 2023 for victory. And to answer you directly, you are aware that prior to when I was here, very little in terms of personal contacts has been made, was then made between our candidate, our flag bearer, our leader, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and Wike and his group. Between then and now, it's on record that they have met much more than twice. And what that goes to say is that, yes, there is certainly, before I came here, we had a catalog of issues. The 2 to 3 times of meetings and the interventions by other leaders of the party, the most recent being the new chairman of BOT and a group of elders of our party, well-meaning elders of our party, visitation and behind closed-door meetings with the vice presidential candidate and with the candidate himself, and the possible meeting today with Wike himself. All these are means and ways internal to the party in the resolution of this crisis. I'm happy that while you introduced this subject, you said the 4-5 governors met in Enugu behind closed doors and that nothing has been said. That is true. Certainly, I want to believe by the time BOT meets with them today, the positions as we hitherto have them may certainly not be the same, because consultation at the highest level of leadership of the party on both sides is ongoing. And these consultations are intended for certain give and take to not individuals, for all inclusiveness of all the geopolitical zones in this country. And I want to believe that all those moves are in the larger interest of the entire country and the party, and we subscribe to it. I can assure you again, like I did the very last time I came, that the journey made so far in the direction of resolving this crisis is well over 60-70% done. Like our vice presidential candidate did say when BOT met with him, he said a lot has been done, a lot still yet has to be done. And within that which still is left to be done, I can assure you there will be final resolution of this crisis.
Okay, Dr. Agbo, let's cut through the chase. The Board of Trustees met with former Vice President Atiku Abubakar on Sunday. Today, the BOT is meeting with Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers. But Wike and allies, in withdrawing from the inauguration of the campaign council of the PDP, they have said that Ayu must go. Senator Yochi Ayu, that is. What's your personal opinion in that regard, beyond all this talk about the party having internal mechanisms? Second, today, the National Working Committee of the party... No, I wanted to give you a second issue about the crisis.
Okay, all right, okay, no.
Today, the National Working Committee of the party is also meeting on the crisis in Ogun State. And the fear in the party is that, look, in Ogun State, you could have the Zamfara or River State situation in Ogun State. Now that the Court of Justice Oguntoyinbo has said all the primaries held in that state are null and void, because there was an issue with the delegates list and there was an issue with subsisting court judgment. What's your personal view on these two issues? Not about party meeting, we have internal mechanism. No, these are very serious issues that could even affect the party at the national level.
Thank you, Doc. Let me start in the order the questions came. Personal opinion on the demand for the removal of the national chairman. I want us to go a little down history lane. That's of just few months when we had the crisis for the removal of the immediate past chairman of the party. The party is run on conditions laid down by its own constitution. You will agree with me that the provisions of those constitutions were not put together by this present NWC or the immediate past NWC. 35 subsection 3C of that constitution says, in the event of willing resignation, incapacitation, or death of any officer, say now the national chairman as the case is, the deputy national chairman from the zone in which he comes takes over. If truly the problem is, the issues are not individualistic, if it is on the north-south dichotomy, like they have made us to believe, the person that is supposed to assume that office immediately, assuming Ayu resigns today, is going to be Umar from northeast. And Umar is not only from the north, but he is from the northeast where our candidate comes from. Unless they are calling for both his resignation, and you will now ask for having done what? There are constitutional impediments to this call. I will quote alongside 35(3)(c) for you, sub 47(6), that now says in the event that there is a vacancy created in any executive committee at any level, the executive committee at that level will go to the area and the zone to bring a replacement. What that means is, even if Ayu today willingly resigns, I do know, and I am privy to a resolution of the North Central from where he comes, that they will now go and ask for their position. And my take is that will create multiple problems, both constitutional for the party, than resolving any particular problem on hand. And that's why leaders upon leaders, including myself, publicly and privately, all this why I ask, come look, unless you want us to be acting outside the provisions of our constitution. And in any case, if we so do, it won't take long before they will now classify the party as totally lawless, having no regard for their constitution and all of that. But yes, at the cost of peace building and give and take, we had a case in this country where the doctrine of necessity was deployed to arrest a national crisis that brought peace nationwide. I know that, yes, a collective of all leaders of thought of this party could again come together and say, come look, can we look inward towards using a doctrine of necessity to resolve this pending problem?
Okay.
And in that case, it may be holistic.
Okay.
No, I want you to comment on the National Working Committee meeting on the crisis in Ogun State, which was what we started the program with.
How I wish my brother and very good dear friend that I would be able to respond on the issue as I may please. Do you know why I will not be able to so do? The National Working Committee of the party, being the legitimate organ of the party, charged with the responsibility of the day-to-day running of the party, is currently faced with the judgment from Ogun State, and thank God the judgment, as part of the judgment, asks that they should go back to reconduct congresses. Okay. They are left with a lot of options, and I will not want those options to be what I will make a subject of national discourse when they themselves have not sat and taken such positions. I say so because the leadership, as it is, could choose to allow the court judgment to stay as it is and go ahead, go ahead with a new set of primaries. The case could still be appealed to higher courts, and so there are so many options that are available, and that I think it is not even in the interest of the party that I make it a subject of discussion on national television now.
Okay, so real quickly, it was interesting when you were saying that pulling out the national chairman now would still mean that the person that will take over will be from the northern region, and the party doesn't want to break with its constitution so that the party will not be seen as unconstitutional or not respecting its constitution. But isn't the party's decision to break with its constitution that talks about zoning and giving everybody a sense of belonging, isn't that the origin of all of this problem you're facing? Because a right sense of belonging will have been after Alhaji Atiku Abubakar ran in 2019. It was only right for a sense of belonging, like you say in your constitution and zoning, for it to be zoned to the south for a level of balance. But you broke with that and you went one step ahead to say we'll leave it open. Then the master stroke game was played by Mr. Tambawa, and your party chairman, Iyorchia Ayu, said on camera that he was a hero of democracy. That means they planned that action together and executed it. And your presidential candidate further went to say to Mr. Wike, just after the election, because he's not rebutted what Mr. Wike did say, that Ayu must go. So, is it not your disrespect, underline the word disrespect, if I may use the word advisedly, for your own party constitution, the reason of your quagmire as we speak today?
Are you done?
Yes, I am.
Hello?
Yes, I am.
Good, thanks. Yes, if I got that question right and correctly, I want to answer by saying there is no provision in that constitution that is time-bound and specific zoning the presidency as it is or as it were to any particular north or south, and that such a provision was breached when first the committee that reviewed the 2019 election now said for all inclusiveness it should be left open, and second, the neck of the party upheld that after the autumn committee could not zone to either north or south. And we must agree that the prime purpose of every political party is legitimate power acquisition. To acquire political power legitimately through the ballot box. And every party, because every political party strategizes towards success at the polls. And in so doing, a lot of considerations, a lot of things go into those processes. How I wish the Nigerian people, as represented by the section or class of people today who continue to think that we flouted our constitution by throwing it open. But today I want to, in very clear terms, that we agree that yes, if there is a position, say the presidency in the south, then other political positions are going to be zoned. And if it leaves the south, it should go to the north. We've been consistent on that. It's just that people have refused to look to see to it with us. I asked you again, and I hope you will answer me. Even if you don't, Nigerians that are watching you and I today will provide answer to this. The party PDP was last in the villa 2011 to 2015 with a president of which extraction? Prior to him, there was a president of northern extraction. Prior to that president of northern extraction, there was a president of southern extraction when we started in 1999. If you look at the sequence and the consistency of respecting north-south dichotomy by the PDP, our last president is from where? The South, Jonathan, in 2015, when he lost election and bid to have done his second term. I still find it very difficult why we started in the South, we went to the North, we left the North, we went to the South, and today we are going back to the North in a sequence of that is consistent with our provisions in our own constitution and all other extant laws of this country. But people want to, we are a group with our own distinct laws that is guiding us, with our own agreements and conventions that is acceptable to us. But you people now want to impose what is somebody's ex-constitutions, what are somebody's ex-agreements upon us. I think people are not just fair to the party PDP as the case is today. And looking at the totality of the rate at which Nigeria and the Nigerian people have been plunged into what, borrowing from my brother, doctor, that they were in a near catastrophic situation in this country. The onus was on the party to say, come, look, let this be an opportunity on a clean slate for picking whoever will be most acceptable to the generality of all sections of this country. That was a simple reason behind it.
Dr.
We're not
Agbo,
looking for a Southeast president. Yes?
Dr. Agbo, I think the beauty of democracy is that it talks about the right of the people to choose. At the end of the day, it's the Nigerian people that will make their choice, whatever is presented before them. What we think we would like to see is a situation where that right to choose is respected. But I'd like to ask you, in the 1 minute that is remaining, why do you think there's so much desperation in the land? I mean, this 2023 election is proving to be an election like no other. People are taking it as if it is war, and all kinds of persons are so emotional. Why is this so? We've never had it so bad that an election is again beginning to look like a do-or-die affair.
My brother Doc, the reasons for that is not far-fetched. When you have a total disaster that brought calamity, untold hardship, unbearable economic crunch, complete failure, consistently for 7-8 years, the minds of the people will be agitated. Everybody today, what looks like war is not real war. Is the fact that people want to express themselves. They want to be part of the process that we give to themselves, a leadership that is going to be acceptable to them, a leadership that certainly will not do the part of the last 7 years. You and I will agree. Today, 1,001 people are surviving and all at the mercy of only God knows what and from where it will come. We don't want that to continue 2023 beyond. And when I mean we, I mean the Nigerian people. And that is what you see playing out. A large segment of our Nigerian youth that hitherto were very, very docile politically, who just didn't want to feel concerned, today are concerned because they have graduated and they are on the streets without job. We must provide for them. We must care for them. We must tell them that this country belongs to them. And even if we refuse to tell them, remember, their slogan is they want to take their country back by themselves.
Okay, Dr. Agbo.
So, asking for why this level of interest is being generated within the polity is nothing beyond the fact that the APC government was a total disaster.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Agbo. Really appreciate you for your time and thanks for your insights.